Hi, I'm Janessa. I'm a teaching artist here at the Pérez Art Museum, Miami, and today we're going to be doing an art making activity inspired by Kevin Beasley. Kevin Beasley is an African-American artist that works with textiles and fabrics. This sculpture behind me is actual house dresses and caftans that are dipped and drenched in resin to create this hollow ghostly figure. For this project, we're going to need possibly construction paper of different colors, scissors, paper plates if you have them, other paper or cardboard containers, cups or even actual plastic or glassware at home could work, yarn if you have it, fabric of different kinds. You can use leftover towels, blankets, t-shirts, those all work for fabric. Lots of glue. I would prefer the liquid over the glue stick. Aluminum foil just to add a little shine if you have it. So for this project, what you want to start is have a tray or plate that you can place your glue in because you want it to be nice and flat and open, and you want to pour all of your glue, your liquid glue, into that area. I chose a smaller tray, but you can also use a plate or a bowl. You also could use paper plates to create the shape of your sculpture. Today, I'm going to be using a cup, but you can use any kind of dishware at home because once the sculpture is finished and dry, it won't actually ruin the dishes. So let's get started with my cup. Here I have my tray of my glue, and I have my materials. I have some aluminum foil to give some shine to my sculpture. I'm going to be working with some yarn, and then I have a bunch of different types of fabric. I can choose to work with t-shirt. Fabric that you choose is completely up to you. It's what you have at home, okay? So now whatever materials you choose to, including paper, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fully dip every piece into your tray, and then you're going to apply it on to the shape or cup that you decide to work with. And using your fingers, you're just going to kind of place it on nice and flat. Once this dries, you'll be able to peel this off. And I'm just going to play with a bunch of different colors and patterns to start building my sculpture. And how big you make it, what shape you make it, is completely up to you. It's going to depend on the container you choose, the different fabrics or materials that you're working with. If you're working with like towel, then you're going to need more glue because that's a thick fabric. So think about that before you get started, what materials you would like to use. So here I am just adding some yarn now, and you can use any kind of string if you want to add it onto your piece. And this gives it some nice color and texture because they can clump together. And if you ever feel like you need more glue, you can always put it on directly with your fingers on top of the fabric. Remember, glue is going to dry clear. So although it's very white right now, when it all dries, it's going to end up being very clear and it's going to look very cool. I'm going to go ahead now and add some of my shine. So I'm going to put some of these aluminum pieces on. Now, the fun thing about my aluminum foil that I have on here is that it's great to put on another shape like the fabric and the string, but aluminum foil is also very great if I want to use it as the base of my structure. So for instance, if I wanted to take over my leftover pieces of aluminum and create a ball, and then roll that in glue, making sure I keep the ball together, I could actually take my fabric pieces and now put them on my aluminum structure. And you can make a structure out of anything with aluminum because of how malleable it is. Malleable means that it bends very well. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more strings maybe to that little ball. And when that dries, that'll be very interesting. And then finally, with my last bit of yarn, I'm just going to add it to the original sculpture I was working on, just to give it some more color. And if you feel like your glue is a little too thick, a good tip is to use some water to help you make it a little easier to move around your sculpture. So all I'm doing now is just adding some extra glue, making sure everything is nice and sticky, so when it dries, it all sticks together, and it can be a sculpture that can stand up. I'm going to put this here for a moment, and I'm going to clean my hands before I go to my next step. So once we have our sculptures fully done, and remember, you can cover the cup completely. How big you decide to make the sculpture is up to you. You can build higher, you can stack cups on top of each other, you can make different forms out of aluminum foil, or use different shape objects to make your sculpture and build upon. Remember, it's not gonna ruin the object, it's just glue, it peels off. Once you're done though, it's gonna dry like this. Like I said, the glue is all gonna dry clear. So you're not gonna see any of that glue anymore. You're only gonna see the fabric and string that you placed on there. And once you poke the cup to loosen up your piece, then you can pull it off. And now you have a standing sculpture that doesn't need a structure at all to hold it. The glue and the string are now working together, being held together by the glue. And there you have it, a fun standing static sculpture inspired by Kevin Beasley.